expertise and experience was invaluable in putting this legislation together. The gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Boccieri.
Thank you, Chairman Costello.
From Ohio is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Chairman Costello, Chairman Oberstar, and Ranking Member Petri and Micah, we thank you for your leadership on this important issue and including this legislation in this moving bill through the House of Representatives. There's an adage that we often say in aviation, that you train like you fly, and you fly as you train. And aviators know that the practice that we do prepares us for situations where we find ourselves in compromised circumstances. And we know that the training that we do prepares us for those emergencies. But you could take the most experienced aircrew with thousands of hours, hundreds of thousands of hours, put them in an airframe, and if they're not trained in the safety equipment of that aircraft, they will not know how to recover. And while this accident in February was completely tragic, I'm sad to say that it was completely avoidable. If we would have only taken the leadership as we are doing today. When I reviewed the NTSB's reports, and I found that those pilots were not trained in the safety equipment on their aircraft, I was aghast. I was aghast that the Q400 check pilots that were interviewed, their demonstration or instruction of the aircraft pusher system is not part of the training syllabus for initial or recurrent training on the Q400. These pilots and this airline were cutting corners. And now we're paying the price for this. And those families who died are experiencing the grief and tragic that was completely avoidable. Madam Speaker, in the 1970s, the NTSB has been telling the FAA to include stall recovery, upset training as a part of curriculum for new pilots. Since the 1970s. 1994 in their advisory.
The gentleman's time has expired.
Another minute.
Madam Speaker, I yield an additional minute to the gentleman.
Gentleman is recognized for an additional minute.
They warned that stall recognition and recovery techniques are to be included as stick shaker and stick pusher during training. But yet this airline did not include it. In Section 208 of this bill, we will change that. And we will make sure that pilots are having simulator training, that they're going to recognize and avoid stalls of aircrafts and recover from stalls as part of their simulator training. For over 30 years, we've been telling the FAA to do this, to make this a part of their curriculum, and nothing has happened. Now Congress is acting to ensure that this tragedy will be avoidable in the future. I thank the chairman and this committee for its leadership and for the families for their unrelenting push to make sure that we hold not only those who are training pilots, but those who are operating our equipment and flying our loved ones around this continent and others to be as safe as they can. We owe it to them, and this Congress is going to act today on this. I thank you for your leadership and yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Illinois.